Alright everybody, welcome. So you're interested in making your own custom paint job for American Truck Simulator. I'm going to show you everything you need to know, whether it be for a modded truck, a SCS truck, or even the trailers that are in the game. This is all going to be good for any of that. So there's two programs you're going to be needing, paint.net and Mod Studios 2. I will be leaving a link for those in the description below. Mod Studios 2, when you go into this, once you download it, you can go into all of their files here. It does tell you the required software, which will lead you to this page, and it'll tell you that you need Windows Visual C++, which is probably already on your computer. You need that for a lot of other things. Most Windows 10, Windows 11 already have that, so you probably don't need that, but you might need to make sure you have this if you don't already. The desktop runtime, and make sure when you click on this, if you download this, make sure you're just doing this one, the .NET desktop runtime, because there's a bunch in this page to click on, and make sure you click on your correct bit, probably the 64 like most people. Alright, so I'll leave a link for those in the description of this video. So you might need those other programs to run these, but once you have that all set, you're good to go. Now to get started, you need to find a template for what vehicles you're going to be doing. So this here is just a shortcut to my mod folder. So these are all the mods that I'm running in my game right now. And for example, in here, we're going to do this hater built. So I'll click on the hater built, and you can open up the file, open up whatever truck it is that you want to mod. So you normally see something like this. Let me get rid of that WinRare. I don't need to be bothered with that. You need to find the template. And as you can see here, like most of these modded trucks, they will have a template. Some of them don't, like the Pinga 900. Um, they don't have it in the, you can't even access his files. He locked them. But you can go on Pinga's website if you're looking for like his or something, and he has the template on his website. So just find the mod, and if you download Mod Studios 2, when you open up Mod Studios 2, it shows you here you can join their Discord server, and in their Discord server, if let me just click on that real quick. This is their server. You can see over here there is ATS trailer, truck templates. You can just search for the one you want. You'll find it in there more than likely than not. So if you're interested in finding a certain specific template, they'll help you out in that Discord. But here we are. We have template 1, 2, 3, 4. The one you're going to probably be looking for, though, is a DDS file. So these .dds files, it's already in paint.net, so you know that's the one you're going to be looking for. These ones you could use, but the differences between these, as you see, is the sleepers. These are the different cabin styles. So it's a smaller stand-up sleeper, and then you have your low-rise sleeper. So they're just the different ones. But this one, it says full. If we click on this, it has all of those different sleepers here. You can see the outlines of them all in one. So especially where it says the DDS file, that's what you're going to be looking for, though, more than likely than not. And up here on the top left where my mouse is, you can see it says DDS. So this is what they'll look like when you open them up. Some of them, there won't be this black in the background. Majority of them, there will be. That's not important. What is important is the truck, being able to see the truck and the truck parts. And they're not all the same. These are all laid out differently per the person that made the mod. So to get started with, a couple of things you want to take note of while you're using paint.net. These bars here are going to be what you're going to be using the most of and looking at the most of. All of these four tabs are right up here, so if you accidentally close one by accident, you can see that one's now not highlighted. You can just click on that. That's that. Um, you're going to want to probably click on these two things up here. By default, they're not on. You're going to want the ruler and the pixel grid. And that's going to give you, when you do the ruler, it give you all these numbers up the top and the bottom. And you can kind of see that line in between the 800 up there? It shows you where your cursor's at and on the side as well. But if you zoom in here, the pixel grid will show you all these squares. So if you're trying to be really finite, Jesus, I'm making up like two words here. Um, Finite and like intricate. But if you're trying to be really specific on what you're doing, you can obviously see a little bit better now on where certain things are. So that's very helpful. I'm trying to buzz right through this, giving you all the information really quickly. Your design's going to be up to you on what to do with your design. You don't have to tinker with it. Over here you have all of your things. You know, your your text. These are your lines, different types of lines. So you can do the straight line here. And if you draw a straight line, for instance here, first things first, before I get going on that, you're starting with this layer of the background. What you're going to want to do is add a layer. Everything's going to be layers. So if you do a stripe, make that a layer. If you're going to do words, make that a separate layer. If you're going to be doing pinstriping, make that another layer. Just keep adding layers. The more layers, probably the better. And you're going to double click on it to name it. Make sure you name everything so you know where stuff is. So if we wanted to do this line here and you want to make sure it's straight, what you can do is hold down the shift and then it'll straighten it out for you no matter where I go. That's different angles it does as well. But it'll do a straight line, so you don't have to worry about it. If you're in that vicinity here, it'll make it straight before it goes to an angle. As long as you let go of the mouse first and then let go of the shift, you're good with that. Some things to note is up here is what you just did. So you can control Z, you can get rid of layers, and what you're highlighted on is the thing you're on right now currently. So that'll be useful up there, keeping track of where you're at. You're going to be deleting a lot of stuff, control Zing a lot of things. Control A will select, Control D will deselect, Control C is obviously copy, Control V is your paste, and Control Z is undo, like we both already know. Control X will cut something, and this wondrous tool will, just for an example here, maybe it won't do that right now. Oh, I'm not on that layer, that's why. I'll get into that in a second. So this little tool outlines stuff, and if you wanted to cut that, so say for instance I'll do it with another truck. Or let me open up one of my files here so you can see what we're getting into. So here's one of my other trucks that I made. So say I wanted to make this a different color or something. I would find the layer that's on, logos, click on that, and then you could fill it in with a different color. Okay, that's pretty simple. That's a good tool to use. It's good for also if you make a new thing in here, like you're going to add some pinstriping. So this doesn't matter. I just go based off of these, so kind of try to make it somewhat of a square. And then let me go find in my pictures here some pinstriping. Okay. Where were they? Where did I put them? Saved pictures? I believe it was in saved. Come on, open. You don't want to open for me? There we go. So say I grab this here, open. Don't mind that copyright. I didn't really use this one. I was just going through a bunch of them. But say for instance you did find a thing that's not copywritten, you want to grab it. You could actually this one right here, you're gonna use the background, cut the background out, and you can cut that out, and you can cut this out. And now I'm gonna select all of it, I'm gonna copy it, and if I wanted to drag it over here and make a new logo, I'm gonna undo this right quick, so this is gonna go away. There we go, bring that back to normal. Now if I wanted to paste that in here though, I know it looks like I'm clicking on a bunch of stuff, but I'm just getting rid of that fill can so I didn't accidentally fill something I didn't want to. We'll Control V, and now you can see minus this little copyright thing. You have that in there. So that's that. Close out of that. And don't save this one. Close out. As you can see, we just got rid of this. That was an accident, right? Well, we're going to Control Z a bunch of stuff. That was because when I pasted this, as you can see, that box outlined it. It's actually going to stay gone. When you bring something over, it's going to erase it. If it's in the same layer, that is. Okay? But now I'm going to Control Z again. We're just going back in steps here. That's how I got that back. I just kept going backwards up here, Control Z-ing stuff. So now we never brought that in. But if I were to go to a different layer, so say this layer here, I guess, won't be interrupted. It might be over here, but I'm going to paste it in this layer. And now when I go over that, you can see it'll go over, well, under it. I can bring it forward by moving the layers on top of it, but um, you can see it doesn't interrupt it because it'll only interrupt things on the same layer that you're working on. Okay? Um, so there's that little piece of advice. Just mind what layers you're on, and if you're going to overlap something, make another layer. So that'll help you out with that. You're probably wondering why everything's green, red, and blue in here, and it looks ugly in this. And this is because when things are red, green, and blue, you can change the color in the truck in the game. But they have to be exactly blue, exactly green, exactly red. And you can see that here. So the color that I'm on here, that I just filled that with a minute ago, just a random color I chose, it isn't fully green, red, or blue. But if I click this one, I know this one's full red. You can see it's fully red, there's no green, and there's no blue. Um, this one here is a little bit off, so you're going to have to find out where, if there is one for blue. I don't even know if there is one for blue. It doesn't look it. So you just have to pay attention here and move that slider all the way over, making sure that you're 255 for whatever color, and those will be changeable. In order to get the truck color, whatever you see here in that template color is going to be the truck color. Now you could also do things a little bit differently. I could add a layer. Sorry, I'm coming off a little bit of a cold. So that's why I'm sniffling and I probably sound like crap. Um, oh, my color wheel went away. There we go. Bring it back. So if I wanted to make that truck all purple, for instance, I added that layer and now I'm just going to paste it in there. So now every bit of that truck that wasn't these colors is going to be purple. But I think it's easier to just do it all in the game. So I'm just going to delete that layer. I deal with doing it in the game. It's the same color wheels that you get in the game. So why not make the truck a changeable color? All right. So that's the reasoning for the red, green, and blue. And it should be pretty self-explanatory that all the green's going to be one color, all the red will be the other. Yeah, I shouldn't have to explain that. Once you get it into this state where you're feeling good about it, you want to proceed on. Don't mind this too, this little middle piece here. I had a little boo-boo, but it didn't really affect me, so don't mind that little missing piece. Once you get it into this, what you're going to do is this will still say DDS up top. It'll still be this. Okay, what you're going to do, and just for the sake of this video, I'll do it with this one for the sake of the video. Um, so I'm just going to randomly draw here on layer 2 a stripe across the truck. Again, shift, letting go, and then down here, shift. Why are we not drawing? Oh, it's because I am selected on something. So hold on, let me deselect. If it's not drawing, chances are it's because you have something else selected. So just make sure everything is deselected. So there we go. The biggest thing is lining up the back. This is your back. If you have a stripe going around and you wanted that stripe to continue, trying to find out where that is going to match up with this, that's a hard feat going back and forth between going into the game once it's done, figuring out you need to move it up or down, and coming back in here. That's a lot of trial and error. But once you have it, you're pretty well set. And just to save you guys, well, actually every truck's different, so I'm not going to bother. I was going to show you guys my numbers on the ruler here so you had an idea, but it doesn't matter. Every truck's a little different. This would only be valid for the hater built. So anyhow, back to what we were doing. It's going to look like this. You're going to go File, Save As, and now you're going to save it. As you can tell, it already went to a PDN format, which is fine, and you can call it whatever you want, so we're just going to call it Test and save it to somewhere where you know you're going to find it again. So I did a couple here. As you can see, I have DDS files. I highly recommend doing this. So I did a folder for DDS, a folder for PDN, and a folder for SCS. So I recommend doing those 3 folders. You don't have to, but it's just easier if you're going to be doing a lot of these, or like I did. I did them all for a virtual trucking company we're in. So I'm going to click on here. I just wanted to call it test. And I also, after you name it, it's better. I recommend it to put PDN with it. Um, just so you remember what one it is. But again, you don't need to, but it's just a good habit to get into. So test, and then you can save it as a PDN, and you're good. And now you can see it went from DDS to PDN. All right, so now when you want to bring it into the game, make sure you save it that way though, so you can come back here and change whatever you want about it. Okay, you can add your name, you can move things around. If you don't have it saved in this PDN format, you're not going to be able to come back to it. So now, in order to make it so you can change those colors and change the truck color, in order to change the truck color, you're gonna deselect the background. Okay, it'll look like this, but you'll have whatever you have. These are all selected. All the rest of your layers you made are still selected. And now you're going to file save as, and again, I like to do it in the DDS folder. Um, I'm not going to keep making, I'm not going to save this one here. Well, I'll use one of my other examples for this. Um, you're going to save it as a DDS now. So you're going to come down here and just do DDS. You can call it the same thing. You can change this to DDS, or you can just leave it at this. I believe Mod Studios only lets you write, I think it was 11. I'll double check later in the video, but I believe it only lets you do 11 letters in here. So keep in mind, whatever you call this, try to make it small, not too crowded with letters there. So save it as a DDS somewhere. Again, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to waste my time with that. Once it's saved as a DDS, you're... Oh, I need to show you one thing though. So I do need to save it as that. Alright. I needed to show you one thing because it's going to ask you some things. So we'll go to my pictures and we'll go to DDS files. Again, it's test. We'll just call it test. Save. This will pop up. So what you're going to want is the BC3 linear 5 or DXT5. You're going to want to make sure perceptual is clicked, and you're going to want to make sure this is on font. And then you can hit OK and then flatten. Again, I'm not going to save it. Once you do flatten, it'll save it. And then this up here will change to DDS, and then you're good. Then you can exit out. When you exit out now, do not save anything. You already saved them in your formats. You hit don't save, or else it won't be right. So, you won't be able to go back and to that PDN file and fix it. So if you needed to fix it, if you wanted to move stuff up or down. The difference that what you just did with that flatten, I'll show you that. So let me grab mine here. So this is mine. As you can see, all the layers are here. I can work on this truck. Okay, but now if I go to the DDS version of mine, it's all one layer. So it just made it one layer, and I can't work on it now. Okay, so that's all that did. Once it's in that DDS, you can open up Mod Studios, and now the fun begins. You're going to go to File, New Project, ATS, and then Mod Manifest. Here's where you're going to name it whatever you want, author, whatever you want, mod version, whatever you want, 1.0, 2.0, whatever. None of this really matters. This down here, try not to do this so that way anyone can use them unless you feel the need for someone to have a DLC, but you shouldn't need to. Down here, you're only allowed 2 of these mod categories, so truck and a paint job. Okay, click those two. That's that. This icon, um, you can make your own icon in paint.net if you wanted to. It has to be a certain specified pixel, like resolution or whatever you want to call it. It's size. You can find that by clicking this button here. It'll tell you what size it is. Or you can just use this. Description of the mod, you can write whatever you want there. And that is that. That's all you need there. Now you're going to go to add a template. Oh, before we do this, if it's a modded truck, you won't have your template you need. So you need to go to here to SCS Tools, and you're going to go to Vehicles, and you're going to go to Load from Mod. And then you're going to go to your mod folder in American Truck and find the mod that you had. Okay, once you hit that, hit OK. There's a couple of things you've got to say OK to, whatever. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can do it that way. Um, that's basically that. Now, so back to the mod manifesto where we were at with here. So now, and if you get lost up here, just make sure you're clicked on the right tab up top here. So under Home, you're going to go to Add Simple Truck Skin. And now you'll see you have truck skin under here. You can always, if you clicked on the wrong thing, you can always right click on them and remove. Okay, so truck skin, and now you'll see, normally you'll just see these SES, but now you should see, since I added it from the mod, the hater built. This is my hater built, and you'll see all the different cabin styles. You can click on whatever ones you want here, it doesn't matter. You can click on all of them if you really wanted to. Anything you see here in red or orange, pink, whatever, salmon, you're going to make sure you need to have that filled out. So this internal name is going to be the name that you called your icon, that 11 digit, and that's why I think it's 11 digits. I'll look it up for you here. 12. No more than 12. No character, no special characters. Um, so you can see what it says here. And if you forget what it says, you can click this button. If you don't remember what you said, skip to this image page. And now you're going to find that DDS file. You're going to want the DDS one in here. So you're going to go to mine are in my pictures and then the DDS files. So, and click on the one I want. And this here, other than the DDS, whatever this is going to be the name that you want here in BASIC, okay? So, gotta make sure that those two match. The price of it, this is just an in-game price, so that's good there. Now, when we unchecked in the PDF in the paint, I'll help you so that way you're not lost. So when we saved this, we went from this PDN to the DDS, and you unchecked this background. Okay, make sure you uncheck the background before you save it in the DDS. If you didn't before, start over doing this and just uncheck that again. But since we unchecked that, if you do this base color unlocked, now you uncheck that, you can now change the color of your truck to whatever you want in the game. That's that part. So we just did what that is. This icon here, you can just hit use default, or you could find out exactly the pixels. I haven't figured out what size this one is yet, but you could make your own if you needed to or wanted to. I just used the default, that's fine. Metallic option, we're not going to worry about that, leave that. The mask option, now we're going to enable mask color if you did use the red, green, and blue. And you can do red, green, or blue, whatever colors you used. And there you go. Once you have that, you're going to go to File, Export Mod, Export, pick a spot to export it. So that's why I do with mine the SCS files. Because once you export this, it'll just say export complete. It's going to make an SCS file for you. So if I go to my pictures here, SCS files. You'll see it made all these. So it made all of my SCS files. And then you can drag those right into here just like it's a mod. Um, that's simple enough. And then once you start up the game, you know what? We'll start it up. Where is it? Oh, yeah. You'll see when I added it in what mine look like and what you can do to it. I mean, it's really nothing special. Make sure when you start your game, you go to the mod manager. You can see this is my logo I made for it. So I have that activated. Um, and then once I get in the game, they'll be in the game. So it's fairly simple. It takes more time in the paint.net getting everything the way you want it and lined up. Um, I'll go over a couple more features of that at the moment here, but that's going to be the biggest thing is your learning curve with paint.net. But I should have answered you guys' questions for the majority there on how to get it into the game. Um, I'm just gonna have to make a truck dealer here, go get one because I'm already in this, and instead of me F7 or getting another truck, I'm just gonna do this. So you'll see here, these are all of our ones I just showed you, ones I made. We have, this is the truck color. You can change that to whatever you want. This is one of the ones. I forget if this was blue. I think it was blue. This is my green one. And then these were all my reds. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Um, that's all that really comes down to. Let me exit out of here. I'm going to go show you guys some other cool things in the paint.net. Um, paint.net. So let's open up that template or yeah, let's open up. I don't know why I went there. Hold on. Let's go get that template that we were playing with, the blank one. So, whoops, wrong one. Don't open that. My mouse is touchy. Come on. Open, says me. There you go. So, all right. If you wanted to mask off something like the fenders here, okay? Easy way to do that is get pretty well zoomed in enough to where, no, that's too much, to where you can see a good portion of it. Um, the lasso tool here, you're going to want to start this somewhere like here, and you're just going to draw on the outside of it. And as you can see, it just makes a nice little boom. So there's a straight line, and then you can just fill it in with your red. Well, you need to make it fully red, but you could just, oops, I don't know why it did that, but whatever. Let me delete all that. Oh, it's because we're in the background still. So I need to make a layer first. Make sure you made a layer. And there you go. Now it's normal. So you can mask stuff off with that lasso tool. And that's pretty much it. You guys can figure out what you need to do. If you need to select something, make sure you're in the right layer that you need to select it on. And you can use this little box here, draw a box around it, and then this will let you move it. One other thing is, if you wanted to, say for instance, instead of drawing that lasso over here again, you could do is add a layer, take this one, and we're just going to Control C, and then over here, we're going to Control V, so I copied it and pasted it, and now what you can do is go up to layers, and you can flip layer horizontally, and now you got to go looking for it because it always sends it off to the abyss. But you could just do it that way if you wanted to, or whatever. You can flip your lay. It's all into layers. You can flip it vertically, whatever. Um, some people, you've probably seen videos where they do the merge. You don't need to do the merge button, but you can move things up or down. This will let you see, like I showed you earlier, one thing on top of another. Um, that's pretty much that. Gradient, I think that just kind of gives it, that shades it. Erasers, not really useful. So that's pretty much it. There are shapes down here too if you wanted shapes. Shapes are up here. You can change it up here. The brush sizes, let's go over that real quick. So if you were to make in a line, and hold on, I have a little icon up here. There we go. Go away. If you wanted to make a line, for instance, let's, oops, I thought I was scrolling over. And straight line. You can see right here, it's 5 pixels. You can change that to whatever you want, 5, 7, 1. Make them odd numbers though. Even numbers don't work. They end up giving it shades. As you can see, it shades the edges. So odd numbers, and that's that. This other line will let you draw a line, and then these will let you bend it. So pretty good for drawing lines around fenders. Like this is the fender here. If you wanted to um, draw a line straight across this fender, I don't know why it didn't. Hold on. It's because I am selected. As you can see, this dash means I'm selected. Let's unselect it. We're just going to shift. There we go. We have that. And then you can see I can take this and kind of make my own line or whatever, however I wanted to make a pinstripe around a fender. Do what you want as you wish. That's the video, guys. I hope you guys kind of got a gist of it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Hope this helped. I think I went over everything I needed to. So, see you guys on the road. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the like. Thanks for watching. Um, See you guys out there.